this next proof, I'm given that FL equals AT. I'm trying to prove that segment FA equals segment LT. So I'm going to have a long process here, but again, when I'm given something, I'm given this FL equals AT. That's what the first line is typically for, unless it says diagram as shown, like the first proof that we did. So since I'm given that information, that's what I start with, and I write given on line number 1. But then everything else, I have to figure out what the reason is, right? So when I say segment LA equals itself, that's the reflexive property in algebra. It kind of came out weird, but you need to know that one. Now, whatever it is that we're writing, that F looks kind of weird. I have to have at least 4 letters to know that that's reflexive, because otherwise, if you're writing substitution or subtraction, I know a lot of times I just write a negative sign for my subtraction, but depending on the teacher, you might need to write the whole thing. But it's a general rule, you should probably have at least 4 letters because sub is too ambiguous. It could be subtraction or substitution. So maybe I'll just stop at REFL. Maybe I'll write the whole thing. It depends on what I'm supposed to do, right? But reflexive, anything can be equal to itself. Now, the reason I did that is because 1 and 2 get added together for that next line. And again, maybe you have to write out addition for your teacher. I don't know. But sometimes I just have my students put that plus in parentheses because then it's not ambiguous. It's not just a random mark. It's a little bit more than that now. So adding those two lines together, FL plus LA equals AT plus LA, you can add 2 of the same thing to any original equality and you're good to go. And then the next line says FL plus LA equals FA and or AT plus LA equals LT. Both of those are segment additions. Again, shortcutting, I might just use a plus sign for an addition. But FA equals LT, that's the thing I was trying to prove, right? Obviously, I can get there now, but that's because FL and LA are equal to FA, right? So that would be this here. AT plus LA, well, that's LT, right? So I just substituted those 2 segments into line 3, and now I know that they're equivalent to each other. So I've now proven that FA, segment FA is equal to segment LT. Next proof, number 10 here. So I have, again, a segment kind of situation going on, this line with a bunch of segments in it. I'm given dw equals on, so that's already in there, so I can just write given over here. But then dw equals do plus ow, that sounds like a segment addition. So I'm going to write that here. I need to fill in some blanks then too, because on, this segment on, is divided into OW and WN. So that's what should go on these lines. Again, I might put that segment mark over the top. Otherwise, next step looks like that last problem. I'm just substituting, right? I'm putting in the DOOW for DW up here, and then I'm putting in the OWWN in for ON, and I got a new equality. So this is just a substitution. OW equals OW. I've seen that before. That's a reflexive. And then looking at those 2 lines, all I really need to do is take that OW out of each side. And now I have DO equals WN. That's what I was trying to prove. And in order to do that, I just subtract. So a lot of times in proofs, at least early on, we're going to use reflexive to introduce something new and or to take it out of an equality. So I needed to get rid of OW on both sides. I needed to subtract it out. And then number 11 here. So this one's got angles in it, but I'm given that 4 plus 6 is 180. So that's that first line. And then I'm given, or I'm told that 4 plus 5 is 180. But again, that's something I should know just looking at the diagram. And those are adjacent angles that add up for a straight angle. So that's how I know that. And that's just angle addition. It just happens to be a specific kind of angle addition where it adds up to 180. So I can always assume that a straight line, two angles that make a straight line, should add up to 180. Otherwise, at this point, I have two 180s. So I can do some kind of substitution, right? So I'm just going to throw in this 4 plus 6 for this 180, and that's my next line, so that's a substitution. And then I got a reflexive, 4 is equal to 4. And again, why do I bring that in? It's so I can take it out. So I got to subtract, add, and again, a lot of times I'll just put a minus. Maybe you need to put SUBT at least to know it's subtraction, not substitution. But that's how I get to that 5 equals 6.